big break in TV. But the prime time gets.
Good evening, campers, streamers, and babysitters, and welcome back to Primetime Terrors. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about Chucky Season 2, Episode 6. And Luke is back and joining us. So why don't we do a quick little recap? Again, congratulations if you're only a member of the Primetime Terrors and you don't check out our other content. Luke was off having a child. So congratulations again, my friend.
Our little horror community is ever growing, as she will be a Chucky fan.
I hope so. But yeah, give us a little quick recap of your thoughts on episode 5 before we dive into this bad boy.
So episode 5, we finally had that culmination of Buff Chucky or Chucky Prime is what I believe they're calling him. And good guy Chucky. And I thought that one was a lot of fun. I thought, after episode 4, which we were kind of, not a horrible episode, but just kind of a not as what we were hoping for kind of episode. I think 5 was really back on track with kind of getting in line to what we were hoping for and what we were expecting. So I think that one kind of had a lot of momentum, bringing us episode 6.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that built up really well, and I enjoyed this episode a lot. I think that episode 6 is, again, another pretty strong episode. The story is still moving really well. No more detours, it looks like. Again, we're just kind of sticking with everything. Only got a little bit into the Nika stuff, but I like how they're using that. I like that Kyle's with them. We get to see kind of that dynamic working. We didn't see any of Jennifer Tilly this last episode, so jury's still out on exactly what's going on over there. But yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. I liked basically how we were running with 3 different Chuckies pretty much the whole episode. So it was kind of just like waiting for the virtual pen to drop at any moment.
And that's where, this episode really felt like getting into form of what I love about Chucky is that you never know where this is going to go and what ride they're going to take you on here. And I really love the idea of us kind of having these 3 coexisting Chuckies, all very different, and the most out of him splitting up his personality so much where, in lesser hands, this could have been all the same Chucky. Just him splitting his personality, not really going anywhere with it. I love the kind of off the wall zaniness that we get a little bit with these Chuckies, and the whole different personalities we get with Chucky Prime, the good guy Chucky, and I don't even know what we want to call the bald Chucky there, but I absolutely just
that was the
love
Colonel. They call him the Colonel.
That's right. And I just love these variations here, and then kind of how they were all at odds with each other. I wish that would have lasted a little longer, because I thought that was so much fun. I thought they were really going to build up. So I was really hoping that was going to bleed over into episode 7, but they kind of put an end cap on it here with episode 6.
Yeah, I mean, so far it seems that way, but Chucky Prime, we thought died at the beginning of episode 5, but he did not. So it's one of those things where it's like he could come back potentially. The Colonel, that isn't, I don't even think you could even consider that definitively dead. I will say that I absolutely laughed my ass off at the Apocalypse Now recreation.
Fantastic.
There I
thought, what a fun tribute. And that's the stuff, again, what we love about the Chucky franchise. It's like, I feel like this is the only really defined horror franchise that can pull off a tribute like that and make it feel organic and not forced, and something where you're going to roll your eyes at. This was so much fun. I love the addition to it. Just the Colonel in general, I think, was a great variation of these Chuckies. And as you're saying, yeah, these aren't definitive deaths, so who really knows where we're going to go with this? I would love for a little triple threat action and these guys teaming up to take on our whole gang here.
Yeah, and okay, so I said it a little bit to you before we started recording. I guess we'll have to bring it up. It seems like the proverbial coin flip on good Chucky has finally happened, with the episode concluding with him killing Nadine. which was a pretty shocking moment, I would say. I didn't expect her. I thought maybe she would last for another season
I thought so
because they
too.
seem to really be establishing her as, a member of this group. And they killed her. Yeah, so I did not see that coming. And so, I'm just like, okay, like I said in my review last week, I was kind of waiting for that to tick off at some point. I thought maybe we'd get a little bit, maybe another episode of Full Good Chucky, but no, you could see the line was starting to blur very quickly here because he also handed the pills
Lexi.
to Lexi, yeah, which was very much just feeding into her addiction. That's when everything started to really be like, okay, this is about to flip. He's going to be a bad guy, which to me, I saw it coming. Am I slightly disappointed by that? Yeah, just because I wanted there to be a definitive good Chucky that maybe got offed by the other Chuckies at some point. I thought that would be a real nice change of pace, but I think that when dealing with this character, from what I understand, it's consistent. I mean, like you can never really trust Charles Lee Ray in any capacity.
Yeah, and I like the way that they're handling it as well, where, he
Hmm.
threw Nadine out the window and then immediately went back to his kind of good guy version of what have I done. So they're really playing with that in terms of, it's not like a full on switch. It's kind of this back and forth, and clearly, Jake has some sort of attachment to him. So it's like I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. If they're going to try again to, sit him down and, show him all these horrible images, so that kind of diverts him from doing so, or they're really just gonna go full force and say that he is that on the other side of the evil Chucky. So I'm curious to see where they're gonna go with that one. I did like that ending. I thought it was a lot of fun. I didn't expect Nadine to bite the dust in this episode. I thought she was probably going to be a mainstay for at least a little bit. But as soon as he's standing by the window and she's walking up the steps, I was like, are they really
Yep.
going to do this? I love that build up, and then just tossing her right out the window, and then the way she's landing. I thought
Yeah,
that was
on
a
the
fun
statue.
ending scene.
Yeah, and then holy crap, so it looks like God, I should know his name. But Devon Sawa's character is finally in the know
Yes.
with what's going on here with Chucky. So, that coin finally flipped as well. So we have Father Bryce, who is now in there. Like, what a shocking scene that was. I mean, like, seriously, there was a couple of moments where my mouth dropped wide open in this episode of just like, the sister getting shot and
Yeah.
everything like that by the therapist and all that. It was just like, holy shit, like we're really, like, we still have 2 episodes left, and it's like we are really uh throwing everything at the fan here. I've been waiting, I said about 2 episodes ago, for this to really hit the gas, and it has. Like, I'd say these
Yeah.
last 2 episodes have been my favorite. And one thing I want to say, the opening to this episode was really dark. Just with how we had the colonel there, and he was talking about how good Andy tastes and everything because he's eating from his leg and everything, and
Yeah.
he was cooking his flesh and stuff. I was just like, oh shit, like this is really dark stuff. So I enjoyed that kind of tonal switch up there
Yeah,
a
I,
little
I
bit.
love that whole scene, and I'm fine with this episode. I think it was a great episode. You almost just want to see them kind of elaborate a little more on the Colonel and that whole scenario going on, because it's them walking into the woods and seeing all these, uh, pieces and parts of different Chuckies, and just the imagery alone was horrifying. So I really love the kind of dynamic that the setting they built around that. So I was really hoping to see a little bit more there. But yeah, that was such a unsettling opening. I love just the portrayal of the Colonel. And then yeah, him cooking his flesh and then talking with Dr. Mixter, I thought was a lot of fun. And him kind of belittling Chucky Prime a little bit, and saying
Mhm.
he's just the fat, and then kind of making a joke about Andy right there. I thought that was such a great opening, a really great way to establish that character. That's why, I really hope the Colonel shows back up in some capacity. I mean, and that's where it's like, a couple episodes ago, you would have said I would have said, Chucky Prime was my absolute favorite variation, and then going in this episode, I'm gonna say the Colonel right now is probably pulling ahead. But again, I was very much looking forward to that matchup between the Colonel and Chucky Prime. So it kind of was short lived, but who knows where that's gonna go. Maybe they'll put a pin in that one. But it's like just the way they're building these personalities and variations, it's awesome because it's you get introduced to one, you love them, and then you get introduced to another one, you love that one even more. So it's like just the writing here alone to kind of build up the way he's splitting his personalities, I think is awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it a lot. I really like watching them all kind of have that interplay together, like you said. You know, we talk about NECA stuff on here all the time. A few Sunday Scaries ago, probably about a month ago now, we talked about how there was a little tease as a part of the 31 Nights of Fright for them, where they're going to be releasing the burnt Chucky from season 1, which I thought is going to be really cool. I'm excited to add that to my collection because, as I said, I don't have a Chucky representation back there. But with this season, it makes me almost wonder. It's like, wouldn't it be great to get like a multi-pack of like maybe 5 Chuckies? It's like you pay probably like 80 to $100 for it with all these accessories, but like, you have the buff Chucky, you have the Colonel, you have good Chucky, and then it's like, I'm sure before the end of the season, we'll have another variation probably with
Yeah.
these last 2 episodes. I'm sure someone's going to get mangled in some form or way. But yeah, no, I just think that'd be awesome.
It would be such a great collection. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just to be able to collect them all, because I'm sure they're going to come out with all of them eventually. Just because, I mean, this season alone has been great in merchandising, I'm sure. So, I would easily collect every variation of Chucky that we can get. Because, I mean, again, they're establishing them so well, making them very unique in their own ways, and the interplay where they all hate each other instead of getting along. I think it is a lot of fun as well. And then kind of establishing that relationship between Dr. Mixter and Charles Lee Ray, I think was a good way of kind of doing that, kind of because we had the question of how are they going to relate. So I think that was a lot of fun as well. A lot of great stuff going on
No,
this episode.
I completely agree. A lot of really strong stuff in this episode. But alrighty, I guess that's going to wrap us up here on our discussion. Unless you have anything left to say about the episode.
No, man, like you said, they really put the pedal to the metal on this one. I love the way everything's intertwining. The stuff with Kyle and Nika and Glenn and Glenda, I think is great as well. Kind of really making this feel organic, and everyone's going to be at one meeting point essentially. So, I think the writing here is very strong. They had a plan from the get go. I mean, yeah, we had a couple episodes that were maybe a little weaker, but the pacing wise is like now we're really into it, and it really feels like we're building towards something.
No, I agree. And one thing I want to mention is they do the little preview of the next week's episode. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but next week's episode looks crazy, off the wall, and exciting. I love the angle that they're going with that.
Yes,
I'm real excited to see where we go because that's the second to last episode. So before the season finale, in which we'll give you both our reviews of those episodes, and then you'll probably catch us here couple days later after that for the final recap of the entire
dissecting
season 2.
everything.
And really giving you our full thoughts, and maybe we'll do like a rating or something on that one. But alrighty guys, until next time, you can catch us on our social medias at Splattercast Pod when it comes to Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Keep up with all the latest and greatest on there, as well as check out our Bubba Hotep episode that we just released on Monday, where we go deep into that film. It was an excellent pick by Luke to get us back into the swing of things after the Splatterthon, as well as a few of our other videos that we posted just during the final couple weeks of the Splatterthon there. And sit tight with us because we got lots of content coming down the line. I know it's been a little slower on the channel this last week, but hey, we needed to recover a little bit. Obviously, as we said, our boy here had himself a child, so he's adjusting to that. And we just we got a lot of good stuff coming up the pipeline. We were just talking today, and the last half of November here should be real strong, and then we got a pretty special treat for you coming in December. So lots of great stuff on its way.
Yes, we're going to be again taking a little slight break, obviously bringing you the normal content that we usually do, but like Dylan said, I mean, ending of November shaping up to be fairly busy, as well as I think December a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of good stuff coming your way, so keep an eye out for that. But until next time, I'm Dylan Newell,
And I'm Luke Janesco.
and remember, stay scared.